Hello, hello. Hope you're all doing well this afternoon. And oh, well, maybe it's a different time of the day for wherever you are. I wanted to go live and really just chat about the reporting requirements that are coming through in Australia. And, um, if you're joining me live, say hello and let me know where you're joining me from as well. Ask any questions. Feel free to disturb me along the way. I'm just going to chat through conversationally about what's kind of going on in Australia. So, really, this is a big shout out to my Aussie businesses out there who are listening and who are curious about this topic. The conversation about the ASRS mandatory reporting has really been in full steam, which is great to see. I mean, it's a starting point. It's certainly not as far progressed as many other countries, but the value here is that it's starting somewhere and it's expanding really quickly. And what I mean by that is that it isn't just for the big businesses. Yes, it starts there. All of these things have to start somewhere, right? People didn't figure out that they could make 10-tier cakes straight away. They started with one tier, then they built it out to two, and now we see these magnificent cakes being made. But I digress. The point that I'm trying to make is that this reporting scheme is not just for everybody straight away. It starts with the bigger businesses, and then the size requirements really trickle down to smaller businesses quite quickly, which is a really good thing to see because this is an opportunity to start rolling this very important form of reporting out quickly and start to expand on that beyond just the financial reporting requirements and move into a full effect of double materiality impact analysis, looking at the opportunities for businesses to mitigate sustainability related risks, climate related risks, and really just align with what's happening around the world. To talk about who needs to be reporting, I will get into that in a bit, but I wanted to just say that one of the things that I see is kind of the biggest challenge for businesses is not having the data systems in place, the data integration, the collection process, the cleansing process, the ongoing capture tracking process, the process of measuring and verifying the data or the system that which the data represents, and then feeding that back through a continuous loop of improvement. And I think that doesn't even begin to cover all of the steps, but just to paraphrase what those steps are in terms of a fully integrated data system, that's often what's missing in this space. And I think that's missing in many spaces of work or many industries really is that when we've got so much data out there, it's a data heavy world. Every one of us has a supercomputer sitting in our pocket or in our hand throughout many points of the day, unless we're sleeping. And so, with these supercomputers in hand and all of this data working for us at all times, or at least being captured at all times, now it's about getting it to work for us, and that's the piece that's missing. And so many businesses don't have those systems in place to actually effectively know what's going on in their business and have proper overview of what the data is telling them and why it's telling them this, and what can they do to then address the issues or even the positive things that are coming out of that data. So leveraging one positive event into a bigger, more positive outcome, I guess. And so that's often what's missing. And it all really starts with understanding what are the risks and the impact that your business is currently having, and then setting those KPIs or those benchmarks that stipulate exactly, what does success look like for your business, and what does failure look like, and what's that spectrum between, and then being able to track the data that allows you to track the progress that you're making along that spectrum. So I think, it's a very simplified way of looking at it, but it's definitely a good way to start. Start by looking at your impact as a business. So, back to the ASRS, and again, as I said, if you have any questions, drop it in the comments. But in terms of the ASRS, as I said, it is starting with the larger businesses. So, large proprietary companies or companies who are reporting on their carbon emissions through NGERs. or who hit certain size thresholds and are listed companies, they're usually the ones that need to start reporting. But that changes quite quickly over the first, second, and third year. So group one that is coming through the ASRS will be those that are, hitting somewhere around the 500 mil revenue, or have over 500 or at least 500 FTE employees. So that's group one, and those are the ones who will definitely hit those immediate requirements, and need to start thinking about this now. Certainly, many of them already have. And some of the businesses who don't even hit these requirements now are already starting to put in the systems in place. I know I'm working with a couple of these more forward thinking, progressive businesses who are saying, yes, I understand I'm not obliged now, but why don't I voluntarily get into this process and start to mitigate the risk early on? Because they realize that building this out at the last minute, it's never really going to be the best outcome, right? So why not start now, make the mistakes that need to be made, and then learn from the process. And by the time when it does come around, their reporting outcomes are going to be superior to many of their peers. And so that's something that I need to preface this with as well, is that if you want to be a more progressive business, is an opportunity to start thinking about this earlier on, rather than waiting for it to become an obligatory system that you're being pulled into and dragged into. So rather, why not step into it with flow? I guess that's the best way to put it. So this is an opportunity for some of those smaller businesses to start now and start early. But the second group that does need to start thinking about this from year 26 is the ones that hit the 200 million revenue mark, and maybe 250 FTE employees. So that's group two, and then it moves on to group three in the following year, which are the 50 million plus businesses with 100 FTE employees. So as you can see, that's a 3-year journey, and that shows really quick progression through to the smaller businesses quite quickly. So even just in terms of time frame of doing a materiality impact analysis and leading that into a data supported or digitally integrated ESG framework that allows you to report on your ESG in a better way, that roadmap itself is anywhere from 6 to 12 months typically. And even then, some businesses can certainly take longer than 12 months if they're a more complex business structure. But even just thinking about the lower end of that spectrum, if it's a 6-month roadmap just ahead of time, obviously finding the right people, and then accounting for any delays, accounting for finding the right digital systems or technology to support your ESG framework and your reporting process, you're going to have to start now, is what I'm getting at, is start early and get those systems ready so that once you move forward, your business is ready to report, and report effectively as well. And I think more importantly, report with integrity, because I think that's a big part of what ASRS and the Australian government is looking to do, is create some integrity in our reporting process, and and then expand on that to make it a much more robust and comprehensive reporting framework that is comparable and competing on the global stage, and not just us out in our little corner of the world doing our own thing, but really competing and being competitive and an advantage to the global stage. So that's my little chat about the ASRS reporting, and just about reporting in general, and really what Australia is doing. So if you have any questions or you have any thoughts about that, feel free to reach out. But I hope you do have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, and I look forward to joining you again live soon. Take care. Bye.